Bezrat Hashem, we're going to be learning about the beginning of the Chag of Pesach from this point where it starts in the Tefillah of Arvit, of Ma'ariv, of the evening prayer, the beginning of the holiday, the first prayer of the night. And we'll see that it's very different than any other Tefillat Arvit that we have in the whole entire year. Right? From there, we're going to go into beginning Leila Seder and the idea of Motzi Matzah, and hopefully touch on the 4 cups of wine that we have to do. We're going to make it through a portion of Leila Seder, and then next week we will have part 2 of this year, and we'll finish the rest of Leila Seder until the very end. B'ezrat Hashem, we'll get started. Kedushat Hayom. ברגע שנכנס היום טוב הקדוש, הלב מתמלא אור ושמחה מעצם קדושת היום הגדול הזה. From the time that the Yom Tov starts, this holy day starts, your heart fills up with light and with joy just from the essence of the holiness of this great day. Because once the holiday starts, at the very start of the holiday, אפילו שעדיין לא עשינו מאומה, even though we still haven't even done anything, כבר השם יתברך מאיר ומשפיע אור גדול בלב ומוח של כל יהודי. From the beginning already, Hashem starts to bring down immense light and into the heart and the brain of every single Jew. Everyone is aroused and awakened to Hashem. From a place of emunah, from a place of connection to Hashem, and a place of bitul, a place of nullifying themselves to Hashem. With a longing fire, a burning passion to connect towards Hashem. This light, this is the light that will come afterwards, right? When we come to eat the matzah, we come to drink the cups. But now, right, it's coming in the first stage, the first step. In the mitzvot, afterwards in the mitzvot, when we come to eat matzah and we come to drink the cups, we'll merit to a higher level, right? So what is the difference between the light of the essence of the day, the light of Pesach that has nothing to do with any actions that we do, and the light of the Seder? The chiluk is, what's the difference? That the light of the holiday, right? Even though they're very, very strong lights, right? It's the light of itkafia, which is like forcing, right? Right? To force someone to do something. Right? The lights that come down afterwards in Leila Seder, those are lights of flipping, of changing, right? So one is the first light of the holiness of the day that you don't have to do anything for. That's a forced light that comes down, right? Forced, we'll see in a way that it's not maybe the best word, but it is the word. And then the other light that comes down during the holiday, during the actions that we do in Leila Seder, that is the light of transformation. Meaning, the light of the holiday, of the light that's just the fact that it's Pesach right now, we didn't do anything, that gives us the recognition of the true reality of Hashem. But in a not so perfect way. In this level, the person has to force themselves, right? Itkafia, to nullify themselves to Hashem and to want to connect. You still have the bad part in it, involved in it a little bit. You still want some kind of physicality, you still want some kind of, there's still a sense of ego there. But a person forces it, right? By way of the light that's coming down of Pesach, you force that sense of yourself to give into Hashem's will. But afterwards, when you come to pray and you come to do the mitzvot, as me'ir or yoter gvura, then there's a higher light that comes down. Then comes to a point where we are just transformed. We just become, we change and we become good, only good. And we come to a point where we don't at all want the physicality, we don't want the ego, it's not about us. We only want bitul to Hashem, we only want to long to Hashem. It's very important to recognize the light that's coming in from the holiness of the day, the sanctity of the day. To contemplate on it, to drill it in deeper, to take pleasure in it. כי אי אפשר לקפוץ מדרגות. You can't jump levels, you can't jump stages. ולכן צריך תחילה להיכנס לאור של המדרגה הזו. First things first, you have to go in this light of, there's a light coming down right now that's very intense. You're going to want this, you're going to want that. Force yourself to connect and to go towards Hashem. Before Aruvit, and afterwards as well, right? Then you can go higher and higher when you have the mitzvot illuminating for you when you're going through all of the stages. תפילת ערבית של ליל פסח היא תפילת ערבית הגבוהה ביותר שיש בשנה. The prayer of Arvit, the evening prayer, the beginning of the holiday of Pesach, is the highest Arvit that you have in the whole entire year. בתחילה נעתיק כאן בעזרת השם את תוכן דברי קודשו של רבנו הרשש בספרו נער שלום. I'm going to bring here word for word what the Rashash, Rav Shalom Sharabi, Master Kabbalist, says about exactly this idea of Arvit of Pesach. המעלה שיש לליל פסח על כל שאר שבתות וימים טובים היא, the Rashash says, the additional value that you have on the night of Pesach, different from all the rest of the Shabbatot and the rest of the holidays, is שבכל השבתות וימים טובים המוחים נמשכים לאט לאט בהמשך סדר התפילות בערבית, שחרית, מוסף ומנחה. Every other Shabbat, every other holiday, the light starts at the Arvit, right? But it takes a while to come down. It comes down by way of Arvit, Shacharit, Musaf, and then Mincha. Think about Shabbat, right? It starts Arvit after Kabbalat Shabbat. It's already now Shabbat. You're bringing down light. And you have that stage, you have the morning stage, you have the afternoon stage, and then you have the whole light of Shabbat by the time you get to Suda Shlishit. Ma she'en ken belel Pesach. This is not the case on Pesach night. Hakol nimshach b'tfilah achat. Everything is brought down in one tfilah, ba'arvit. The first tfilah, the first ma'ariv, the first prayer that you do when it's actually Pesach, everything is brought down already. V'ze lo ba mikochenu. It's not because of us. Ela mikoach v'ratzon ha'ma'atzil ha'elyon. It's because of the will and the ability and the power of Hashem Yitbarach, שרצה ונתן כוח בתפילה אחת של ערבית להמשיך את כל המוחין, that Hashem put inside the prayer of Arvit of Pesach the ability to bring down all of the mochin, all of the intellect, all of the brain power that we need, spiritual brain power that we need, of the lights of Pesach. והוא ממשיך ואומר, and the Rashash continues and says, ולכפיכך אנו אומרים הלל גמור אחר ערבית. That's why after Arvit on Pesach we say the complete Hallel. אף שההלל נאמר בשאר ימים טובים רק ביום, right? Even though in the rest of the holidays, Hallel is only said in the day. ומובהר בדבריו הקדושים שכבר בתפילת ערבית אנו זוכים לכל האור והמוחין של ליל הסדר, right? It's from what the Rashash says, you can see that just from Arvit you already got all of the lights of Leil HaSeder and everything, it's already downloaded. ואנו מקבלים אמונה והכרה עצומה ואמיתת מציאותו יתברך. We receive this immense emunah and a recognition, powerful recognition of the true reality of Hashem, blessed be He. מתוך זה אנו נדבקים בו, מתבטלים לפניו באהבה גדולה. From that light, we are now clinging to Hashem and nullifying ourselves to Him with great love. ונכללים באורו בתענוג עצום. We're included in Hashem's light with immense pleasure. ואחר כך, בסדר עצמו, אנו מקבלים שוב את כל האורות האלו. Afterwards, in the Seder, when we go to do Leil HaSeder, we start to receive all of these lights again. וההבדל בין האור שנמשך בתפילה לאור שנמשך בסדר עצמו הוא, what is the difference between the light that was brought down by the prayer and the light that's actually brought down in the Leil HaSeder? שבתפילה נכנס השפע של הפנימיות. When we came to pray in Arvit and all of the prayers, we're getting the pnimiyut, we're getting the internal side of it. Meaning we're receiving everything from a place inside of our heart that's concealed and hidden. בהכרה פנימית עמוקה, from a very internal, deep recognition. Right? והאדם זוכה להעמיק בגדלות השם יתברך, a person who merits to go deeper and contemplate deeper on the greatness of Hashem, and he achieves and comprehends according to his level how מלא כל הארץ כבודו, Hashem fills the whole entire land. ואין מקום פנוי ממנו, and there's no place free of Hashem, there's no place vacant of Hashem, ואין עוד מלבדו כלל, there's nothing besides Hashem at all. And you feel this with your whole entire heart. And then afterwards, בקיום מצוות הלילה, when you go to do the mitzvot of the night, אנו מקבלים את אותו האור, we receive the same light, אבל בחיצוניות, externally though. דהיינו שאז מקבלים כוח, then we see the power, we receive the power, לראות ולחיות את האמת הזאת, to live and to see this truth, בתוך כל ענייני העולם, within all of the different aspects of life. right? What is the pnimiyut? It's a deeper, stronger recognition. The internal heart receives everything in their whole entire depth. From the other side, since it's such a deep internal light, a person doesn't know how to translate this into actions for all different facets of life. Like a person who knows something complete, knows it definitely, I know this thing clearly. Doesn't know how to explain this to others. Because he doesn't know how to, can't even find the words to start to describe such a deep thing. On Shabbat I was asked by a group from Yerushalayim, a yeshiva group from Yerushalayim, to talk to them. They asked me, like, tell me of the miracles that you see, because I told them in Tzfat we see miracles every day, just walking, like, or your conversations, everything, it's so clear to you. They say, give us an example. And it took me like 3 minutes to even like pull something out. And they're like, no, don't you live it? But now I'm understanding exactly why. It's something so deep. We all know what I just mentioned, right? We could all immediately connect to it. But go now explain it to a boy who's from the yeshiva, like, it's hard to get it out. Right? The pnimiyut, the internal aspect, is the root and the foundation for the light of the vessels of the external aspect. The light of the vessels, right? Technically, the light of the external side is not as such a lofty light. But what does it do? Since it's the external light, it can fill up all of the external facets, fill up any type of place in life that you need with light. It can do that. So they do together. One is in the depths of your heart, and the other one is able to be expressed outwards. The root is obviously in your heart, but you need both, because you can't just be a Jew internally, right? You have to do certain things. Zat Hashem. So together we need them to see Hashem in all of the facets of life. And then we get to Sim Shalom, right? Since in the tefillah of Pesach, there's nothing like this, right? There's no tefillah like that. We have this. In the whole entire year, we don't have a tefillat arvit like this. Every single Jew merits to immense illuminations and great comprehensions. To more recognition in the emunah and the reality of Hashem, there's nothing besides Him. To see how the whole entire creation is completely nullified in front of Him and is included in Him. Whoever merits to see with their spiritual eye, that there's nothing besides Hashem. Therefore, it should be top priority to have all the kavanah that you can on Lil and Tfilat Arvit of Pesach, the first prayer of Pesach. Specifically at that last blessing of the Amidah of the Arvit. Right, when we say Sim Shalom, put peace in the nation, bring down peace, right? Then what is actually happening? The Chibur Pnimi Shelanu im Hashem Yitbarach, our internal connection to Hashem, is happening at that moment in that bracha. V'zohi bakashatenu, and this is what we're asking. Barchenu avinu be'or panecha, bless us, our Father, with the light, the countenance of your face, right? The light of Hashem. How we can merit to see that everything is just your light and to be completely nullified to you. We're not going to feel ourselves as some kind of individual reality. We'll recognize and feel that our internal pnimiyut is the real inner part of everything, is only the godly light. We'll take immense pleasure in Him, to be a part of Hashem. This is the only good that there is. Hashem is shining His countenance on us, showing us His unique reality. Straight away, all of the lusts, all of the ego is nullified. And that person starts to take immense pleasure being in the reality of Hashem. When Hashem starts to shine His light on you, everything is nullified away, right? This is the pleasure that our neshamas are all trying to get to. To have the light of Hashem, to not want to feel us, to not have lust, to not have anything else, just to take immense pleasure in Hashem's light being shined upon us. This is what our neshama is looking after all the time. right? All of the lusts and all of the desires that a person has, the depths of it is that a person is trying to feel godly light, right? We know everything we learn every single week is that Hashem is the spark and the pleasure of everything internally. We sometimes get attached to the external aspect of it, right? We think the wine is good. We think it's it. It's not. It's the spark of Hashem. Our body only, our soul, that's all it's seeking out at any given moment. This is the peace that we're asking for every day in the Amidah, right? Every single Amidah that we do 3 times a day, we ask, and we do Birkat HaMazon. This is what we're asking for when we ask for peace. Completely show to us with clarity the reality, the truth of your presence, of your reality. Will merit a true peace. It's not peace, right? It's shalom. Shalom is shalem, is complete, is whole in Hebrew. That the idea is asagat mitziut Hashem Yitbarach b'chol davar, meaning I want to see Hashem in every facet of life. I don't only want to be with Hashem when I'm in shul, when I go to work, when I do everything. I want to be with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? And then by way of this, obviously I'll have peace between one another, because I'll see Hashem behind everything, right? And I'll have peace with myself, because all of the fights and all of the bitterness, it all comes from ego that is blemished, right? But when we merit to see the true light of Hashem, then our ego is completely nullified to Hashem, because when a person feels that everything is just the revelation of Hashem, then he doesn't feel himself as something individual, and you're completely included in the light of Hashem, and then you won't look for honor for yourself, and you won't get affected or hurt by anybody else, right? And anything that the other does to you, you'll see how it's Hashem's hand in there, because there's nothing besides Hashem, and He's the one that does, and He's the one that will do, and He is the one that will always do, right? And all of the actions that are done, because He's the only true power in the world. And then after Sim Shalom, after we finish Arvit, we get to Hallel. Right? Straight after this beautiful elevated prayer of Arvit, of Pesach, we say Hallel. Hallel Shalem, the full Hallel. Why do we say Hallel after Arvit? To say thank you to Hashem, to praise Hashem for the great level that He just granted us completely as a gift. By way of this thanks and this praise, thanking Hashem, now we merit to another level, an additional level. We get another level in a higher level of recognizing the true godliness. Not only does the Jew see that the whole entire creation is nullified, it's not its own reality. Also sees how the whole entire reality is screaming out the honor of Hashem at any given moment. And Hashem's honor is revealed by way of it. How Hashem's light, how the creation is just a vessel that by way of it you can see Hashem in the strongest way possible. This is the immense power of this Hallel. The secret of this Hallel is so high and so lofty, right? And like the Chida says, my Rebbe, Chida says in his shut, in his response on Chaim Sha'al, he says, "Shu sod gadol al derech haemet." This is a big secret, right? On the true path, meaning on the proper Kabbalah, and you have to, you must say Hallel, the full Hallel on that moment. Like the Ramah of Pano said, Hallel, full Hallel is higher than the actual Amidah. On this Hallel, you're making the full Yichud, the full unification, on a higher level than what was done during the prayer. And there you get to the end all be all of connection to Hashem Yitbarach, and contemplating and comprehending His unification, that there's nothing besides Hashem. Right? So what's going on? We did all of the prayer. We got such light of a gift given to us that now we go to say thank you for that immense light that we didn't deserve and we just got given to us. Now we get to a higher level even than that. That not only is the whole entire creation nullified, which is what we got in our prayer, now we get to see how it's not only nullified, but by way of the creation, I can see Hashem in every single way in the highest level possible. Right? And then now we're going to explain a little bit. גודל מעלה תפילת ערבית זאת, שבתפילה זו אנו מקבלים את ההשגה הפנימית ושבכוחה נוכל להרגיש את מציאות השם יתברך בכל המצוות נעשה בהמשך הלילה. Right? But now we're going to understand how is it that from this prayer we're going to get so much more light in the rest of the tefillot. לכן ישים אדם את כל ליבו. Right? Pay attention completely. להתפלל לתפילת הזאת. Try your very hardest to pray this prayer of ערבית calmly, with dveikut esh kodesh, with a clinging, a fire, a burning fire, a holy fire to cling to Hashem. Don't pay attention to the claims of the Yetzer Hara in your ear. That's trying to tell you, no, speed up, take, let's go, let's rush through it. The more a person prays properly, Ma'ariv, Arvit, and Hallel, with taking your time to prayer, right? And if you can't lengthen it, meaning like to really take your time with a long prayer, then at least with your quality, right? To get into it as much as you can. If you're not going to make it longer, at least make it very, very intense. Then in the depth that you go to, by way of this, you merit to get the internal lights properly. Then it's going to be easier for you to download all of the light of the Leila Seder, of the Seder afterwards, which is the external light. It's easier to get to clinging to Hashem, to Dveikut, during Tefillah and Hallel, because there it's internal work, so it's easier to get to an internal feeling of clinging to Hashem by way of internal light that's coming down, right? The comprehension of the neshama. There's less of a hold for the Yetzer Hara on internal things. Right? So when a person, he brings here as an example, whenever a person has goals and wants desires, right, the Yetzer Hara can't really hold on to their desire internally. It can only affect the actions, right, and make a person mess up and not be successful in trying to get to the goal. The goal and their desire internally, the Yetzer Hara can't really mess with that. You want to be good. You want to do better. Getting there he can mess you up. He can put all the obstacles. But your desire to be better is very, very hard to hold on to, right? So after we receive the intellect, the mochin that we need, of the pnimiyut of the prayer, then the Jew comes to his house, to do the main part of the day. To say the Agadah of Pesach, to do the action-oriented mitzvahs. Then you're already going to have the power, by praying properly, to reveal godliness in everything that Hashem is going to bring your way. You're going to be successful with the help of Hashem. To be clinging to Hashem, even in the physical actions with all of their fine details of Leila Seder. To remember in all of the fine details that we have in that whole long night, everything that you have to go do, anything that happens through that night, everything is just godly light being revealed. After we brought the light down internally in our neshama, it's easier to get over the Yetzer Hara and to overcome him, and to act properly in the way that Hashem wants us, even with our physical actions. The principle is, in order to merit sanctity and holiness externally, you have to mention first to merit to holiness with like a more development internally, right? By way of comprehension of the brain and the heart. Only once you've worked on yourself internally will you be able to see Hashem and everything externally, right? You have to do the internal work first in order to get to the level where you can live in this world and have beer and wine and all these things and still have it connected to Hashem. And you'll merit to see the godly light that is hidden in every single thing that's going on in life and everything that you experience in life. Dainu, she'barolo, be clear to you. Anything that happens to you, and anything that you see, that Hashem, He Himself is doing everything and there's nothing besides Him. Is that Hashem? I'll keep going forward a little bit more. So maybe. Alright. So what is the primiyut of eating matzah? What's the internal part of matzah? Bezat Hashem. So now we're already getting more deeper into it. Matzah is recognition of Hashem's light. The light that comes inside matzah is called mochin de chokhmah, the intellect of chokhmah, koachmah, right? In Kabbalah it's called mochin de abba. Abba is chokhmah, right? What is chokhmah? Let's see. Oh, moach chokhmah, the brain of chokhmah, the light of chokhmah. Oh, shepoteach La'adam, la'avin la'asig et nekudat ha'emet. It's the light that opens up for a person to understand and to comprehend the point of truth. The internal part of the whole entire creation is only the light of Hashem. V'rak hu ha'mitziut ha'amitit atzmit. Right? Hashem is the only individual power that there is. V'lo ha'nivreim einam klum mitzad atzmam. The creations are nothing by way of themselves. And their whole entire essence is only to reveal, and is only by way of the godly light that's being brought down and revealed by way of them. Right? When this light starts to illuminate, then the godly truth is so clear to man, until it comes to a point where it's called, so to say, vision. A person that sees something, right? It's clear, it's much more clear to him. It's not like hearing or someone comes to explain to you something, right? That is already a contemplation in the brain, so to say. Since you don't see it, it's less clear to you. Right? And a person has clear vision, a person has a clear knowledge, it's as if he sees it. Right? From this power, he goes into emunah. Chazaka, stronger emunah. It's an immense love. Until you feel completely nullified to Hashem. So you're chewing on the matzah, this is what you're downloading. More of a recognition, right? There's opening your heart to be able to nullify your to Hashem, because you know that Hashem is the key point at everything. You can see it, it's clear to you. Chokhmah, you can see it with your eyes. It's not like you're hearing it, you're feeling it. This is the intention. It's the bread of emunah. Lechem emunah. Litbonen b'amitat mitziut Hashem yitbarach. To contemplate the reality, the godly reality, the truth that is the whole entire land, the whole entire world is filled with the honor of Hashem. Like He showed us in the Exodus of Egypt, how He is everything, how everything is nothing in front of Him. So too today. There's nothing besides Hashem. This is the light of matzah. This is the light of matzah, which is the light of clear emunah, which is the foundation of a true life, a life of truth. To know the internal essence of everything. The true reality internally is only the light of the Ein Sof. Hashem is always bringing into existence and giving life to all of the creations. Without His light that He's bringing down to them, And then shum kiyum, they have no existence. Then therefore they're nullified to him. They have no reality to themselves. It's one way that Hashem decided to reveal His light. So, what is the special light of every single kazait of matzah? We have a kazait of motzi, kazait shel matzah, and kazait shel korech. Right? We have 3 kazaits that we're commanded to have. There's 3 ways that you can comprehend this light of matzah. Or chokhmah, the light of chokhmah, to see the true godliness, the godly truth. How everything is the power and the light of the Creator. These 3 ways are called Chabad, right? Chokhmah, Bina, and Dat. Right? The light of Chokhmah, which is getting what is the essence of the thing. Chokhmah itself has 3 levels, which is Chokhmah, Bina, and Dat. Right? Chokhmah de Chokhmah, Bina de Chokhmah, and Dat of Chokhmah. And there are 3 ways of comprehending what is Chokhmah. There's one way from the root itself, from the root of the thing itself at its core. You explain a person the point itself, the very fine point. And then there's a way that you get the main idea. That you get the main idea of the thing by way of actually seeing the fine details of the thing first. That's Bina. And then from way of seeing the finer details of the thing, you get what it's really about. Right? If you see a machine and you get all the fine details and all of the features, then you really understand why they made this machine and not the other one, right? Or you can just explain to a person, this is a machine, this is a printer. But maybe if I see that it's a laser jet printer made for pictures, this, that, I get, no, this is a, you get? So you can get one way of just knowing it's a printer. You can get one way that I saw that you have all these fine details, so it must be a printer. And there's someone who understands the idea from a connection to that idea in principle, in application, in action. That's dat. You see how the thing works in action, and by way of that you understand what is the essence of the thing. Right? 3 things that you could get chokhmah. One is by getting the understanding of the thing at its core. The other is understanding by way of the details, and by way of the details I understand what that thing really is about. Or I can understand what it's really about by seeing it in action. And when I see it in action, then I can come to understanding what it's really about. What's the equal part of all 3 different ways? There are all 3 different ways of getting to the core, the shoresh, the root of what we're dealing with. Right? Therefore, there's 3 points in eating matzah. Shem motzi, matzah, vekorech. Right? There's motzi, matzah, korech. Ki matzah hi chokhmah, l'akir be'elokut. Right? Matzah is the wisdom, is the chokhmah, the knowledge to recognize godliness. The chokhmah nichneset banu begimel drachim ha'elu. And chokhmah comes into us in these 3 different ways. One by understanding the thing at its core, one by understanding the thing at its core by way of its details, and one by understanding the thing at its core by way of seeing it in action. Chokhmah bina dat. Then, so what is motzi? Motzi, chokhmah, utfisa b'shoresh. It's grabbing the thing at the root. You get the key point that everything is just the light of Hashem. Hamotzi lechem. Why do we say hamotzi lechem every week? What does that mean? Bread is the point of sustenance of our physical life. And by way of bread, it brings sustenance to life and life to a person. Why does a person need to eat in order to be alive? A person is not his own reality. Hashem is giving him life at all times. Therefore, a person needs to eat. Because within bread, there is a hidden godly spark there that is giving life to man. So bread, right, then is a hint that at the root of everything is only godly light. Because it's written in Deuteronomy, in Sefer Dvarim, in the last of the 5 books of Moshe, that it's not on a person will not live on bread alone, right? Ki al kol motze pi Hashem adam. Rather, by way of everything that Hashem takes out of his mouth, so to say, on the word of Hashem is what a person will live by, right? What's the pirush? What's the explanation in the Sefarim Kodim? A person can't live only just from external physical bread, because it's nothing by itself. Rather, on everything Hashem takes out of his mouth, a person will live. The life force that you get from that food, is from the godly spark, which is the word of Hashem, which is hidden inside the bread, right? So you do live by way of the bread, but it's not by way of the external bread, it's by way of the word of Hashem that's inside the bread. That is what gives you a sustenance. So that is chokhmah, right? Chokhmah is, you understand what is bread? Bread has a spark of Hashem inside of it. I need to eat and I need to drink because I need to connect to sparks of Hashem, and Hashem hid sparks inside the food. So I need to eat. That's motzi. What is matzah? Matzah is bina. This is Zechir Yetziat Mitzrayim. It's in remembrance of the Exodus of Egypt. Ki matzah hi alechem she'achlu avotenu b'Mitzrayim. Matzah is the food that our forefathers ate in Egypt. When we left Egypt, the godly power, the godly light, right, was revealed in the details, by way of all the fine details of the wondrous plagues that came down on Egypt. By way of the revelation of all the fine details, now we can understand the root. And we see the big secret, that there's no such thing as nature at all. There's no independent reality to the creation. Everything exists only by way of the godly light. And we understand and comprehend the greatness of Hashem's unity in His world. Why? That we see that everything's by way. So what is matzah? That's bina. What is bina? That by way of all of the makot, by way of all of the fact that there was plagues in the Exodus and we left and we ate matzah and everything, from way of the details of all of the fine details of the story, I come back to the root that it's all Hashem. We're nearly done. Korech is dat, right? Korech. Now we come to this part of the sandwich, right? One of the best parts of the Seder. We make a nice sandwich, it's the matzah. Bo korchim et matzah. Here we take and we make a sandwich out of the matzah. She'inyana hakara b'Hashem yitbarach, which is the matzah is the idea of recognition of Hashem. Ima maror. We take it and we do it with the bitterness, with the bitter herb. Shu ha'kshaim ha'ma'asim shesh be'olam. These are the hardships that we have in life. Actual, everyday hardships that we go through. V'maror memutak u'metubal becharoset. The maror is sweetened and ameliorated, right? Sweetened up the judgments with charoset, with the apple, raisin, cinnamon, beautiful mix that we make, right? Which is a revelation that everything is for the good. What are we doing? We're taking the matzah, which is the recognition that everything is just from Hashem's light, and we're mixing it with our bitter reality, right, together. And by way of this, we comprehend in the strongest way possible, this rooted, this very root knowledge, that everything is godliness, everything that happens in the world is just different forms and different pans of revelation that Hashem is completely revealing at any given time. והחלק הרביעי של המצה האפיקומן יתבהר בעזרת השם בפרק הבא. We're going to explain the afikoman later, right? There's another level to this. We're going to explain the afikoman in the next year. When the Jew eats the holy matzah, what's going on? What is going on? First things first, Rabbi Nachman says, when a Jew holds matzah, he's holding elokut. You're holding godliness when you hold matzah. It's a crazy thing to say. All these 3 times when you're eating the matzah, Hashem yitbarach meir bo et ora chokhmah. Hashem is bringing down on you the light of chokhmah. You merit to see that everything is only the light of Hashem and there's nothing besides Him at all. This is what we need to feel and what we need to be contemplating. To request from Hashem with your full heart, to merit, to acquire this truthfully. To recognize the true godliness, to really feel and to tangibly live that there's nothing besides the light of the Ein Sof, and to cling and to be included into Hashem with love. Whoever merits to have this intention in all 3 individual parts of the matzah, right? Every 3 steps you come to have matzah, you do the individual one of chokhmah, and then of bina, and then of dat, right? Whoever merits to do that, matov, how great is that going to be for you? Right? Most people, this is going to confuse you. The most important thing is then to have the main idea of what is the matzah, the main comprehension of matzah, the main meditation. That is bread of emunah. To go deeper and deeper in this. Meaning fill up and contemplate and be busy recognizing the reality of Hashem Yitbarach, how Hashem fills the whole entire land. Nothing is besides Him. Enod min vado, right? And like He showed us in Mitzrayim, in Etziat Mitzrayim, how everything was done by Hashem and everything is nullified by Him, and there's nothing besides Hashem rules over everything. While you're eating the matzah, feel how you are I'm completely dependent on Hashem Yitbarach. And I'm nullified and completely secondary to Hashem. I have no self-reality. My whole entire being is melting and nullified into the great light that is the true and only reality of the world. Go longer and deeper in these feelings and these emotions. Until your heart is ignited in a burning holy fire. You'll feel a proper change for good, and a real acquisition, a true acquisition of emunah, of nullification. Because matzah is the power of clear emunah, which is the foundation of true lives. The little footnote is Noach, is Gematria 58 Noach, so we have to read the footnote that is Noach. This will give them the power, a person the power to decide that even when you have hardships, you give yourself over to Hashem, nullify yourself to Hashem's will completely, and you take upon yourself the work that you have to do His will at any price. Mizat Hashem, there's a lot more to do, but I think we're quite tired. Next week we're going to have a chametz party and push through. Next week we have Wednesday night. So we have shir still on this. We're going to go through the 4 cups. We're going to go through the rest of all of Leil Seder, and that's going to be Mizat Hashem. 20 pages, it's enough for sure. Rachav Hatzlacha.